Hello and welcome back to Studying Books. I'm Elliot. Today we're going to talk about my Reading Rush TBR. If you don't know, the Reading Rush is a readathon. Sorry, I forgot the word there. A readathon that takes place on YouTube every year during late July, early August. It used to be Booktubeathon. I've been participating for the last 3 years, although privately. And so today I'm going to tell you the last 7 books that I'm going to be reading this month. Well, not the last 7, but the final 7 that I was being vague about. Books that I'm going to read this month. And yeah, just talk about the challenges and sort of if we're going to have fun. There's no question about that. So yeah, come along for a fun good time. So let me just open up my iPad here quickly and we'll talk about the challenges. So the first challenge is to read a book that is the color of your birthstone. My birthstone is the ruby, which is sort of a lighter red in the center and a darker, more intense red on the outside. So I chose Maggie Stiefvater's The Scorpio Races, which I think kind of perfectly encapsulates that ruby vibe. It's got this kind of very light red in the center and it fades into a much darker red as it goes out. This book is about 2 young people, Sean and Puck, who are both racing water horses for kind of championship and dominance. This is Maggie Stiefvater's sort of intermediate novel in between the Shiver series and the Raven Boys, and I liked the Shiver series, wasn't in love with it. I was in love with the Raven Boys, like so many other young people my age. And so I really hope that I will like this, like 4 stars, kind of like that sort of energy. Not oh my gosh, I love this. This is one of my new favorite books. But like, there's a lot of merit to this. It's a fun, good book that, you know, I'm ready to enjoy and participate in, and I can check sort of my final piece off of my Maggie Stiefvater quest. Okay, the next book is a book that starts with the, and I'm going to be reading The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. This is one of Brené Brown's earlier pieces. I've read Dairy greatly. I've seen her TED Talk and her Super Soul Sunday and her Netflix documentary, and I just kind of wanted to dive into her work on The Wholehearted, because I personally don't believe that you can actively want to be vulnerable unless you know where you're going. And so I kind of wanted to see what she believes is the benefits of being wholehearted and of living wholeheartedly and kind of expanding your life to be in a space where you are able to be wholehearted and to enjoy those benefits and that vulnerability and the loved ones that you have kind of accumulated that you have around you. Such a weird way to say what I was trying to say. I'm so sorry. The next book I'm going to read is, you can already see it, so you have to guess that it's the movie that you've seen, but you haven't read the book. And I know that's shameful. I know that I should have read Angie Thomas's The Hate You Give, especially because of how much I liked that movie. This book is obviously a seminal piece that came out in 2016. It's by Angie Thomas. It follows Star Carter. As her world blows up around her. She lives in a poor Black neighborhood, but attends a white prep school. And her childhood best friend, Khalil, is killed by the police when he is unarmed. It also just felt like a very poignant piece for now as we're talking about issues surrounding the Black experience and police brutality and all of that. Star is such a sympathetic character, and she's such a wonderful, at least in the film, she's such a wonderful voice to listen to. And if that film is like every other book to movie adaptation, just half of what the author's voice is in this book, I hope that this is a book that I love, love, love. I'm so intensely excited to read The Hate U Give. The next two I don't physically have, so somewhere, probably over here, you will see photos pop up. The first book is Pedal to the Metal by Clint McElroy. It is a graphic novel of the Adventure Zone, series, sort of in the vein, this is the first one, in the vein of this one. I have it on pre-order, but Amazon is being real spicy with me lately and has decided not to bring it to me when I want them to. It was supposed to be here this morning, and it wasn't. It's fine, not the point. But Pedal to the Metal is the third installment in their podcast series and the third installment in their graphic novel series. And it follows the three main characters, Magnus, Taco, and Merle, as they compete in sort of a Daytona 500, Indy 500, Monte Carlo sort of race to gain their sort of MacGuffin in a grand relic. And I'm really excited. That is to fulfill the read a book outside your home prompt. I'm not going anywhere unsafe or spicy. Where I live is a little bit dicey right now, so I will be reading that book on my front porch because that is a safe place and it's not technically inside my house because it's an outdoor porch. The next book that I'm going to be reading is for the, let me go look at the prompt list because is the first book you touched prompt. I went onto my Hoopla and just kind of looked at the books. Well, I didn't look. It was the first book on my For You in the audiobook section. It is Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist, which is a book about a young shepherd boy named Santiago who is traveling from his home in Andalusia, Spain, and is going to Egypt. On the way, he meets a cast of characters, including a Romani woman, an alchemist, and a man who believes he's a king, who help him to get to Egypt. It's supposedly one of the most harrowing coming-of-age stories in the literary genre currently. It is a New York Times bestseller. It's also in kind of the vein of what I normally listen to on audiobook, so I'm really not excited for it maybe, but anticipating a great book as I was recommended it by Hoopla, which is an odd name for a audiobook service. Sorry, I had to look at the books that I have left so that I remember. So the next book is the prompt for a genre you don't read all that often. I don't read a lot of literary fiction, although I'm trying to grow in that area because the lit fic I've read is very good and makes me want to read more. So I am reading Madeline Miller's The Song of Achilles, which of course iconically is her take on Homer's Iliad as she looks at Patroclus and Achilles' relationship and the difference between the dark, awkward Patroclus and the shiny, golden tragedy Achilles. I've heard that she doesn't make Achilles sympathetic, which is wonderful because I don't know about all of y'all, but I've read the Iliad several times, and the only good character in the Iliad is Odysseus, which, like, iconically Homer's from Ithaca. So, like, of course he's going to be pro-Odysseus, the character that is from Ithaca, but neither here nor there. Can't trust Achilles. And my final book is for the prompt, read a book that is not on the continent you live on. I live in North America. I have also lived in Europe. And so I wanted to try and read an own voices book from Africa. I have read the Binti trilogy, and when I saw that my local library had this book, I was very, very, very excited. I'm going to be reading Akatawitch by, sorry, I'm just a little bit afraid to say her first name, Nadi, sorry, Okorafor, I'm just going to call her Dr. Okorafor because I know how to say her last name well. This book follows Sunny Nwauzu, there, I got it that time, sorry, who is from New York, lives in Nigeria. She is an albino woman who, or an albino young lady who can't play soccer while she's this phenomenal athlete. And through kind of trying to find a way to fit in or to play soccer, she finds she has magical powers. The authorities in the magical sect of Nigeria ask her and her friends to help them apprehend a criminal. And yeah, it sounds like a phenomenal piece of sort of Afro-Jujuism mixed with kind of Agatha Christie-esque mystery vibes. Of course, Dr. Okorafor is well known as this brilliant sci-fi fantasy reader, and I'm so excited to read this. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's book Americana, while I didn't love it, made me fall in love with Nigeria and especially Lagos as a setting. And so I'm just so phenomenally excited to read this book. Yeah, I hope that I'll love it. So thank you so much for joining me. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and keep on keeping on. Ciao!